I took the ranger job at Pinewood State Park because I needed silence. 3 months to close out the season, alone in the lodge, maintaining trails before winter. Perfect. The outgoing ranger, Marla, walked me through everything with the kind of cheerfulness that felt rehearsed. "You'll love it here," she said, handing me a walkie-talkie. "Keep this on Channel 7. The maintenance team checks in daily." "Maintenance team?" "Oh, they're rarely on site. Remote check-ins mostly, but they're very particular about the evening relay." "Evening relay?" She smiled. "Every night at 9 p.m., key the mic 3 times. They'll respond. Confirms the lodge systems are functional. Don't forget, they get worried if they don't hear from you." That first week, I followed the routine. 3 clicks at 9 p.m. Static, then a man's voice. "Lodge secure. Sleep well." Sometimes a woman. Once what sounded like a child. I assumed it was families on the crew. On day 9, I found the basement door behind the supply closet. Old wood. No handle. Sealed with painted-over nails. My checklist mentioned every room except that one. I pried it open with a crowbar. The stairs descended into darkness that my flashlight barely pierced. At the bottom, a concrete room, empty except for a steel relay station, bolted to the wall. Vintage equipment, dials labeled with frequencies I didn't recognize, and a logbook, entries dating back 40 years. I flipped through. Different handwriting, different rangers, all recording the same thing. 9 p.m. relay completed. No response variances. Page after page, decades of confirmation that someone, something, always answered. Except for 3 entries marked in red. Missed 9 p.m. relay. Heard my daughter's voice at 9:47. She's been dead 6 years. Forgot to relay. Woke at 3 a.m. to knocking. Saw my reflection in the window, but I was still in bed. Relay failed. Equipment malfunction. The voice that answered at 9:13 knew my real name. I never told anyone. Hear my real name. I checked my watch. 8:50 p.m. I ran upstairs, grabbed the walkie-talkie, and at exactly 9 p.m., I keyed the mic 3 times. The response was immediate. "Why were you in the basement?" My blood went cold. "We've been waiting for you to ask the right question," the voice continued. It sounded like me. "Key the mic 4 times tomorrow. We'll explain everything." I didn't sleep. At dawn, I radioed Marla on her personal channel. She answered immediately, her cheerfulness gone. "You opened the basement. What is that relay station?" Silence stretched. Then, in 1979, a ranger named Tom Vickers tried to call for help during a forest fire. He was trapped in the basement, burning. His last transmission. It never stopped. It's still going. The relay keeps it contained to those specific frequencies at that specific time. That's insane. Is it? You heard your own voice. The relay doesn't just receive, it reflects. Tom's last thoughts were about rescue, about someone answering. Now it pulls pieces from anyone who interacts with it. Voices, names, memories. And if you don't maintain the schedule, it starts broadcasting on every channel, reaching for something. I'm leaving. You can't. You touched the equipment. You're in the log now. If you leave, it'll follow you through any transmission device, radio, phone, anything. You'll hear yourself calling, asking to be let in. Her voice cracked. Or you stay. Maintain the relay. Keep it fed with routine. Most rangers last a season before they transfer the duty. Transfer. Find someone curious enough to open the door. I've been here 11 weeks now. Every night at 9 p.m., 3 clicks. The voice always answers. Sometimes it's the man, sometimes the woman, sometimes it's me, and I have to respond to myself to complete the relay. Last night I heard something new beneath the static. Screaming, layered and distant, like dozens of voices compressed into one frequency. I've started leaving. The basement door slightly ajar. I've updated the checklist to mention additional storage in the lodge, worth exploring. The new ranger arrives Monday. She sounded eager on the phone. I've been practicing my cheerfulness. I need to make sure she understands about the evening relay, how important it is, how you should never, ever miss it. I took the overnight delivery route through the Cascades because the pay was double, and I needed double. 6 hours through mountain passes, dropping packages at automated lockers, nobody around for miles. The veterans at the depot gave me the route map with too many notes. Gary, who'd driven it for 9 years, walked me through each one. Mile 47, chain up even if the road looks clear. Mile 63, don't use the rest stop bathroom. Plumbing's always broken. Mile 81, if you see the hitchhiker, do not stop. Hitchhiker? You'll see her. Wedding dress, thumb out. She's not real. Just drive. I laughed. He didn't. The first 2 weeks were easy. Cold, dark, lonely, but easy. I saw the hitchhiker on week 3, exactly where Gary said, mile 81, wearing white in a snowstorm. I drove past. In my rearview mirror, she was gone. At mile 94, there was a turnoff I'd never noticed. A gravel access road marked, maintenance only, Summit Station. It wasn't on my map. Curiosity got me. Turned. A quarter mile up, a small brick building sat in a clearing, smoke rising from its chimney, warm light in the windows. A sign, Summit Weather Station, Estbert, 1952. I went inside at one room, a wood stove, a cot, walls covered in weather instruments and maps, and a radio setup that looked military grade, dials labeled with coordinates instead of frequencies. A clipboard hung beside it with a single instruction sheet. Broadcast weather update every hour. Use exact script. Do not deviate. Do not acknowledge responses. The script was underneath. Summit Station, conditions normal, visibility acceptable, roads passable. I checked the log beside it. Entries going back decades. Different handwriting, all the same. Hourly broadcast completed. No deviations, except 3 entries in different ink. Missed 3 a.m. broadcast. Heard my own voice reading the script from outside the door. Deviated from script to report actual blizzard. Response came. Thank you for the truth. Roads disappeared on drive down. Responded to acknowledgement. Voice said it's been waiting since 1952 for someone to answer back. Now it knows I can hear it. My hands shook. I checked the timestamp on the last entry. 2 hours ago. Fresh coffee steamed beside the radio. The radio crackled to life. You weren't supposed to find this place yet. I ran to my van, fishtailed down the access road. When I hit the main route, my GPS showed nothing where that turnoff had been. But now, every hour on the hour, my delivery scanner crackles with static, then Summit Station, conditions normal, visibility acceptable, roads passable. In my voice, I called Gary the next morning. He was quiet for a long time. You went to Summit Station. What the hell is it? In 1952, a weather observer named Daniel Moss got trapped there during a whiteout, kept broadcasting updates even as he froze. His last transmission was the script. He repeated it for 6 hours straight while dying. They found him 3 days later, frozen at the radio, mic still keyed. That's impossible. Someone's maintaining it. We are. Everyone who finds it. The broadcasts keep his signal contained to that location, that frequency. It's stuck in a loop, reading the same script, waiting. But if it stops... He exhaled. The last guy who let the broadcast lapse? The roads changed. GPS couldn't find the depot. He drove in circles for 14 hours before the police found him. His truck's odometer showed 600 miles. He'd never left a 10-mile radius. I'm quitting. You can't. You heard the broadcast in your own voice. You're part of the relay now. It's mapped to your signal, your phone, your scanner, any device. If you don't maintain it, his voice dropped. You become the broadcast, stuck reading the script forever, trying to warn people the roads are passable when they're not. What are my options? Drive the route. Every hour you're on it, key your scanner and repeat the script. Keep the loop active. Or convince someone else to find Summit Station. Transfer the duty. I've been driving for 6 weeks now. I only take the overnight route. Every hour I broadcast, Summit Station, conditions normal, visibility acceptable, roads passable. Last night the response came in a different voice. Liar. The roads are gone. I looked out my windshield. The painted lines were fading, blurring into snow. There's a new driver starting Monday. Young guy, curious type. I've been updating the route map, adding extra notes. I'm going to tell him about the hitchhiker, the rest stop, all of it. But I'm going to leave Summit Station off the list. Someone that curious won't need directions. And I need him to find it on his own, or it won't take. I took the hospital custodial job because third shift paid premium and I'd be alone. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., cleaning operating rooms and the laboratories while everyone slept. Perfect for someone trying to disappear. The head custodian, Ramon, had worked there 32 years. He walked me through the floors with mechanical precision. East wing, top to bottom. West wing, same, but sub-level 3. He stopped at a stairwell door marked basement storage, authorized personnel only. You mop the hallway. You empty the 3 bins outside the door. You do not go into the archive room. Archive room. End of the hall. Old medical records, equipment. It's locked. You'll hear sounds. Ventilation system, pipes. Ignore them. He handed me a key ring with every key labeled except one. This red key opens the archive. Don't use it. Then why give it to me? His eyes were hollow. Because eventually, you'll convince yourself you need to. I lasted 19 days. The sounds from sub-level 3 weren't ventilation. They were rhythmic, surgical. And on day 19, I heard something that sounded like my name, whispered between the mechanical clicks. I used the red key. The archive room was vast, stretching beyond my flashlight's reach. Shelves of files, wheeled equipment covered in sheets. And at the center, an examination table beneath a surgical lamp that hummed with old fluorescent light. Beside it, a steel cart with instruments arranged in perfect order. Scalpels, clamps, saws, all gleaming as if freshly sterilized. A clipboard hung from the table's stirrup. Patient intake forms, hundreds of them, dating back to 1968. Different handwriting, different names, but all marked with the same diagnosis. Curiosity, terminal. And all signed by the same physician, Dr. Evan Crane. I found his file on a nearby shelf. Dr. Crane, Chief of Surgery, 1965-1973. Pioneering work in neurological intervention. Obsessed with isolating the part of the brain that generated questions, wonder, the need to know. His theory, curiosity was a disease that could be surgically removed. His final surgery was on himself. March 15th, 1973, the procedure log described him directing nurses through his own brain surgery, local anesthetic only, trying to excise his own curiosity while remaining conscious enough to document it. The log ended mid-sentence. I can see it now. The question forming. Tissue. I'm removing it. The surgical lamp above the table flickered on. I heard footsteps behind me. Measured. Purposeful. I spun around. Nothing. But on the intake clipboard, a new form had appeared. My name printed at the top in handwriting that looked like mine but wasn't. Diagnosis. Curiosity terminal. The signature line waited. Empty. I ran. The door slammed shut behind me. When I reached the custodial office, Ramon was waiting. "You opened it. There's a dead doctor down there performing surgery on—" "There's a question down there," Ramon interrupted. Dr. Crane didn't die. He succeeded. He removed his own curiosity, every wondering thought, every question, and those thoughts didn't disappear. They became the room. A space made of pure inquiry, still trying to understand itself, still asking, what am I? Where did I come from? How do I end? That's insane. You heard it ask your name. It recognized you as someone who asks questions, someone who opens locked doors. He pulled out a worn journal. Every custodian since 1973 has opened that room, and everyone has had to make the choice. What choice? Become the answer. Go back down, lie on that table, let it study you until it understands what curiosity is. You'll be conscious, aware, while it explores. The other custodians say it takes about 40 years before it finishes with you and moves to the next subject. Or, he gestured to his cart, his mop, his keys. You become a keeper. You work here. You warn the next person. You clean around it, feed it your presence through proximity. Every shift, you get a little closer to that door. Eventually, you won't be able to resist going back in. But if you maintain the routine, the warnings, the ritual, you might last until retirement. There has to be another way. There is. Run. But it asked your name. The question is attached to you now. You'll hear it everywhere, in elevator hums, in refrigerator motors, in your own pulse. Who are you? Why are you? What are you? Growing louder until you come back to be studied, or until you answer it yourself and there's nothing left of you but the answer. I've been here 4 months now. I work the 3rd shift. I mop sub-level 3's hallway. I empty the 3 bins. And every night I stand outside the archive room door for exactly 5 minutes. Listening. The sounds are different now, more focused, more directed. I can hear the instruments moving on the cart, arranging themselves into new configurations. Preparing. Last week, I heard my voice from inside. I'm ready to understand now. But I didn't say it. There's a new hire starting Monday. College kid, philosophy major, worked his way through school asking questions for a living. Ramon asked me to train him. I've been practicing my warnings, my routine. I need to make them sound authentic, but not too serious. Curious people don't respond well to direct prohibition. I've left the red key on top of his locker, and I've been standing outside that door for 6 minutes now instead of 5. Soon it'll be 7. Then 8. Dr. Crane waited 40 years between subjects. I wonder how long I can make it wait for me. I wonder if wondering is what feeds it. I wonder if I'm already on the table, and this is just the anesthetic talking.